So I'd say the reason why this webinar has become the most widely requested to do is because, especially in the context of the last few years, the geopolitics, the socioeconomics, just reality has kind of distorted for everyone. And investing is no longer just about profits. It is important, of course, but even beyond that, a lot of ethical investors are looking into whether the company itself is ethical, whether the company itself is, does it profit from genocide? Does it profit from illegal activities or something that hurts? Does it profit from inequity? Does it profit from injustice? Regardless of whether it gives you money or gives you profit or not, right? And so Musaffa took it upon ourselves to actually create our own framework, alhamdulillah, and it's called MISRI. MISRI stands for Musaffa Islamic Social Responsible Investing. And so today we have Madinabonu with us. She's an equity research analyst at Musaffa. So she's involved in actually developing MISRI. And this framework was aimed at advancing ethical and Sharia-compliant investment analysis. So her team was focused on integrating Islamic finance principles with ESG and sustainability. So the goal was to create a very holistic, values-driven investment decision to help investors like you and myself make more informed decisions. So I'll leave it to her to explain all the other interesting facts about it, inshallah, and then ask her questions at the end.
Sure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. First of all, thank you, sister, for the short introduction. So let me first of all share my screen and we can get started. So if I give a short introduction of myself, I have been working at Musaffa for the last 2 years, and recently I have joined the team working on building Musaffa Islamic socially responsible investing framework. So this is what MISRI is, like in long form. Let's get started. So today we are going to talk first about why we decided to build MISRI, what it is, the framework, the methodology for scoring and screening the company. And in the end, inshallah, we'll have your questions answered. So first of all, most of you might have known, like we analyze companies based on AFI Sharia screening methodology, where we mostly focus on companies' core business activity and the financial ratios, which comes from the financial statements of companies. However, there are some points and there are some concerns that this financial statements, for example, does not include companies' political or social or environmental or governance-related practices. So we cannot find it from the financial statements or the company's website where it describes its segments, what it does, and product offerings. However, in Sharia screening, we mostly focus on these. And therefore, we decided to build MISRI to bridge the gap between this financial Sharia screening with the ethical screening. And most of the, for example, social, environmental governance practices, which is like ESG, we heard about it. And these ESG frameworks, traditional ones, usually focus on its own framework, but it does not necessarily align with our Islamic values. For example, a company or, like, for example, technology company providing technology for online betting platforms. This is a huge no for us. However, from ESG point, it may get a perfect ESG score and everything might be fine for the company. So therefore, we decided to integrate the Islamic values and moral principles into the traditional ESG ratings in our own way. And actually, this MISRI has been requested a lot by our users as well. For the last 2-3 years, as Sister Nusrat mentioned, we have seen a massive shift in the geopolitical landscape, and also now people are not only concerned about the profits, but they're now concerned with where the company's money is going, what it's funding, what it is contributing, or is it involved in any controversies, or is it violating any standards or human rights or labor rights, for example? So all these questions have been asked by us. For example, the company can be halal, But it's from ethical point, it might be involved in some controversies, and therefore we do not want to invest in those companies. And MISRI is here to show this to the users to have an extra layer of ethical screening. As you have seen, so this is the long form is Musaffa, Islamic Socially Responsible Investing. In short, it's MISRI. And in this framework, we analyze only halal or Sharia-compliant stocks. Like on Musaffa, it's indicated as halal. So we do the company's analysis based on MISRI framework. And it integrates the higher objectives of Islamic law, Maqasid al-Shariah. We will talk about this later as well. And we also try to focus on harm prevention and public benefit. Like we don't want our money to be going to the business that is harming the society or causing violation of rights, or we don't want a company who is innovating something that does not benefit community. For example, as I've mentioned, this classical example of technology for casinos, for example. And let's get started with the framework. The framework has 5 main categories. So we analyze the companies based on these main principles, we can also say. For example, the first one, so community impact and social controversies, so labor practices and human rights, environmental responsibility, ethical governance. And you can see that community impact and social controversies has the highest weightage in this overall score. So it's 35%. The reason is as a Muslim, we put the community development, social upliftment, or giving back to community in the first place, even before the profits. We're not only profit driven, no matter what. So therefore, we put more importance into social and human rights and labor practices categories. And let's dive into each one of them. First one is community impact and reputation. Here, there are 2 subcategories of each main category. And you can see community investment. Here we question whether the company has proper strategy to invest in the society. For example, it's profiting from selling its products or offering its services to people, but is it giving back to community as well? So we check it in our analysis, and also reputational risks and social controversies. So is the company may be facing public backlash because of its involvement in some controversies, for example, using child labor or forced labor, or funding some violations, or funding some violations. And we also check whether the company properly responds to such crises. So these are all included in this category. And the second one, labor practices and human rights. So we check how the company treats employees, suppliers, and broader stakeholders with respect to justice, dignity, and equality. You can see the categories: fair labor and dignity, workplace justice, and non-discrimination. We in our analysis, we also focus on reporting and compliance with standards. For example, International Labor Organization principles of human rights. We check whether the company has proper policies for human rights. And yeah, this is the overall. We check for the labor rights practices and human rights. And the third one is product and sector involvement. You can see in the 2 subcategory, there is Sharia screening and product purity. This is all about what the company does and what its products, like, is it permissible in industry or not. And the second is maslaha-oriented innovation and societal benefit. For example, we do not want to invest our money to companies which are innovating some new technologies, but which is harming our society, but which is not doing good to our people. Like, it's not solving a major problem people are facing, but it's in impermissible industry. So these are checked in this category, and it has like 20% weightage in the overall score. And the fourth one is environmental responsibility. In the subcategories, you can see environmental stewardship. So this is where we look into how company manage its resources. how it manages its practices related to, for example, water consumption, energy consumption rate, sustainable, like renewable energy usage, and also preservation of creation and compliance. Like, does the company cause any harm to community, like the environment from its business activities? And if yes or if no, does it have any alleviation procedures, or does it properly protect the environment from companies' harmful activities? So these are for the environmental responsibility section category. And the last one is ethical governance. Here, the company's leadership is mostly analyzed in terms of, for example, board ethics, overall commitment to justice, transparency. Here, we usually look into companies' proxy statements, code of conduct, and policies that it has, and the reporting and compliance sites as well. And now let's move on to the screening side, like how companies are assessed. So as you have seen, like we have 5 categories and 2 categories, subcategories for each. And each of these subcategories, there are 6 research indicators, or we can say 6 questions that we use as to guide our analysis of certain principles. And these questions are analyzed based on the publicly available data. And then we average those 2 subcategory scores, and we will get 0 to 100 score for each company. And these scores are then classified into score range, which I will show now. Here you can see, if, for example, the company gets 90 plus score, it's doing good. Like it meets all the criteria. For example, it has very good social investment strategy, and it's reporting its sustainability metrics very well, or it's not involved in any controversies, and etc. And if it's less than 60, it fails to meet our expectations, like MISRI expectations. Why? Because it might have like involved in major crises, like social controversies, or it might be the company might be involved in greenwashing, or might be using child labor. These are like extreme cases, but there is also one point: the company may not have proper reporting. There are some companies, like usually smaller ones, I believe, that does not have yet set up ESG reporting properly. For example, it does not have the policies, code of conduct for board members, code of conduct for employees, or it does not have this non-discrimination policies, or it's not reporting its like GHG emissions, or it's not reporting its safety and health of employees. It's like there are some KPIs, like for example, injury rate. They may not be reporting it, therefore the company may get lower score, or they may be involved in social controversies, as I have mentioned above, which is the extreme case. And we used publicly available data to analyze each company. For example, we look into annual reports, corporate social responsibility reports, or it's usually called sustainability report or CSR report, ESG report, like it has many different names, but its main focus is sustainability and social responsibility. And also the proxy statements to look into its board oversight, or we look into corporate governance documents as code of conduct or ethics policies to check its compliance and reporting with the standards. And also we look into credible media coverage. For example, is there any public backlash against the company because of its certain products, or because of its certain offerings, or because of its investments in questionable areas, and so on. We also look into legal documents and enforcement filings. For example, the company may be alleged to be using harmful, harmful materials in its product. Like if the company is sued, how is the status of that lawsuit? Is it like already filed, and like is it proceeding to the next stage? Like is there really an evidence that the company committed that that crime maybe? So yeah, these are the sources that we use, which is available, publicly available. And this is just a short snapshot on the UN SDG alignment of each subcategory. You can see, for example, fair labor and dignity is really integrates the UN SDG 8 and 10 goals, for example, decent work and reduce inequality. Let's move on to the main point. This is so how much it has, it has been 20 minutes. I guess we have 10 more minutes. So this is the prototype that's how our research results will be shown to you, inshallah. There is actually there are results of the 30 companies, but it's in beta version currently. But this is in progress, inshallah. It will be released. So here you can see for example, Apple. And pay attention, this is not the real score that Apple got. Like it's not 10 out of 100, but it's like designed as a prototype. So company may get, for example, 61, let's say. And if it got 61, it means that you can see its score range is weak. So company's ethical stand is weak in here based on our research. And the detailed report will be shown below, like community impact and reputation with each subcategories, like each score, and there will be explanation given how what each category is analyzing. And also you have seen like a community MISRI score. When we build the framework, we don't want to be the one who is dictating, like this company is doing well, this company is not doing well from ethical standpoint. So we want our community to be involved in the research as well. For example, you can do your own research based on these categories, and explanations will be given here. For example, you can do your own research related to the workplace justice and non-discrimination, and you can put your own score. And you can do the same for all. And these scores are the like average of all the user submitted scores. So you can see in their score range bar, like the score that Musaffa analysts gave maybe like 15, and the user submitted score average is actually 20. So although we gave our own research results based on our own research, like community thinks that the company is actually scoring 20, for example. So this is an extra point where we want our users to be involved. There is then there will be this interactive graphics where you can see where the company is lagging behind the most, or where the company is doing the best, and etc. And I think that's it. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I would be happy to answer as much as I can, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Sister Madinabonu, for your amazing presentation. So thorough, and you put so much thought and care into it. So jazakallah khair. We're so lucky to have you on this team. Okay,
Thank you.
So there was some questions about the thought, like what inspired this MISRI, and I know you covered a little bit more, but maybe you can share a little bit of the story or the narrative around it. Yeah, some people were craving to figure out what inspired Musaffa to go forward with creating this framework.
So there are some companies, for example, which might be completely fine in terms of financial point when it's screened for Sharia compliance. However, the company's investments, where the company invests, where the company directs its resources to, is not reflected in the Sharia screening. So, for example, as I have mentioned, like we do not want our money to be funding a genocide. Like if I want to be open, we don't want it. Like the company may be halal from financial standpoint, but from ethical side, from moral side, it's not like really what we want our money to be in. So this was the real reason, actually one of the real reason that we wanted to start this MISRI project. And yeah, like we want to fill the gaps between the financial based Sharia screening and the ethical conduct of the company. Like we don't know it, we don't get the whole picture of where the company is investing with like it might be involved in in such controversies, or it might be involved in impermissible activities, but it's not reflected in the financials. So we want it to be shown, and this is why MISRI has been built.
Yeah, thank you so much. I guess the question from your experience, what kind of feedback have you gotten so far from users, customers who have seen that MISRI has been added?
Well, actually, MISRI has been has still been developing, and we have released the beta version. And in beta version, we have like 30 companies scores released, but it's based on the previous, on the initial, like prototype, but it has been now improved, and inshallah, I think we will get more feedback when we release it fully with the updated prototype, because the previous one was the initial one and it was quite limited. And inshallah, hope to get more feedback from this release.
Inshallah, sounds good. Actually, do you feel comfortable sharing your screen and going through how a user could go and find the mystery score on the website?
Oh yeah, let's go to the Musaffa website. Like it's available for the at that time for top 30 halal stocks. For example, if we search for Apple must have the score. Yeah, here it was like we like at that time it was like not converted to 100 scale, like 1 to 100 scale, 0 to 100 scale, but it was a 0 to 5 scale. And company was doing well with the previous scoring range, but these things has changed. So MISRI scores will be reflected in the beside the Sharia compliance report, inshallah, with the full updated version. And below you can see the detailed information. This was quite limited one, but this will be more detailed with the subcategories and all the information being included. And yeah, actually these are the companies that has the ISRI score. For example, we got Striker and ServiceNow. Like these are given as like when you see an ISRI report for a certain company, other companies who has ISRI report will also be shown below. And as you can see, this is before called ISRI report, like we didn't add Musaffa, but it has actually now this Musaffa Islamic Social Responsible Investing Framework. So it's like MISRI now. So it will be reflected in the company's profile in the separate section.
Awesome, thank you so much. Maybe if you go down, you can click on the I under Musaffa score and then the community score, so users can see that. If you have any more questions, you can even see by clicking them for more information. We had a question from Nafisa Khan about the difference between MISRI and ESG.
So traditional ESGs focus mostly on environmental, social, and governance practices. And the weightage that we give on social practices like human rights and also community impact, the first and second categories, we give more importance. But in ESG, they usually have equal importance, like social, environmental, and governance. And also we put extra section which for product and sector involvement, where we analyze the company's business practices and products like for Sharia screening. So we see whether it's permissible or not. But in traditional ESG, this is not available. So yeah, the main difference the differences could be this, like we give more importance to the social side, social impact, social upliftment that company advances. And also the second one is we pay extra attention to the company's core business activity and product purity.
Got it. Thank you so much. Someone did ask if can they look at the MISRI score on the app, or is it just desktop?
Currently it's available mostly in web.
Okay.
Because in the app it was not released, if I'm not mistaken. Let me actually check it quickly. Well, it actually is available. MISRI report is actually available on the application as well.
Amazing. Okay, alhamdulillah. So you guys heard it here. You can inshallah look, go to find the MISRI score on the web and the app. So Madinabonu, there was another question about what would be the encouragement for users then when they see a MISRI score? How should it? We can't technically give advice, but any sort of framework thinking around if someone were to see a particular score, how does that influence whether they should invest in that or not?
Well, it depends on like each person's personal values. Like, for example, personally, when I'm investing, I would of course look into the financial side, but I really want to have a quick check whether it's involved in this like impermissible activities or this violation of human rights or like in funding certain activities. I really don't want this as a person, like if I say personally. And when I look into for example, if I see this score in MISRI, it actually tells like if it has proper investments and if it has proper community impact, like not the harmful one. So yeah, it really depends on the person. And this is not also like people may say like if we like check for ethical analysis, we will not have a company to invest in. Like all companies may be bad. Every company may be doing something bad. But yeah, but this is an extra screening layer that adds that is complementary. That is like it's not like the final one. We're not saying this is like compliant, this is non-compliant, but this is like additional complementary screening for those who are concerned about the ethical point of view.
Got it. Thank you so much. Yeah, there was something a lot of people wonder about, like the 5% rule of allowing some degree of that interest. And then a lot of scholars unanimously agreed that if we actually took into consideration there would be no stock market for us. So they do take into account that Islam and our history account, it encourages flexibility, it encourages
And there is also this purification at the end that
right. Oh yes, you can explain that a little bit.
extracts the non-compliant portion.
Actually, do you mind sharing that calculator here on screen so people can see it?
Purification, you mean?
Yeah, the purification calculator.
Mm, Here, maybe you can like if you want, you can actually share the screen.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, no, this is
You can
perfect.
stop
So
the screen share.
yeah, as in you want me to share the purification calculator? Yeah, I can do it. So for anyone interested, especially when you're looking into ESG and when you're looking into these are essentially like a filter for stocks, right? So you want to invest in Nvidia, but then you see that they just built a whole center in Israel, and these things are taken into account when you're when the MISRI score is created for a company. And so it's really up to you. So Musaffa doesn't provide like, here, do this or do that here, but it's really up to you to see what works under your personal viewpoint. But what we do is we just give as much data as we can so that you can make an informed decision. So if you find that you've invested in NVIDIA, for example, and then you're now selling stocks and then there's a small portion of it. Now, because NVIDIA is not fully halal, you do need to purify some of that profit. And so you could go into the Musaffa has a purification calculator. So you can find the company, let's say you own 20 shares, you give in your purchase date. So let's say I purchased February 2, and then I sell it on February 24. It'll tell you how much I need to purify. So that means I need to give 24 cents essentially to some sort of charity, and that'll purify any of the impermissible profit that I made, since NVIDIA is not a fully halal company. Since we're on the topic, we also added these ratings. So you can see, again, this is another sort of filter. So imagine like, there's a group of students taking a test, and the spectrum of passing is getting a 70 or 100. So anyone who gets between a 70 and 100 passes. Now, you need to hire someone now to fix your sink from this class, and there's a guy who got a 70 and there's a guy who got 100, right? You're ideally going to want the guy who got the 100, even though the guy who got a 70 passed. So similarly here, of the spectrum of the stocks and whether they're Sharia compliant or not, there are some stocks that get really good rating because they passed the filters pretty well. And then there are stocks that get like C- or B or something. So they still pass, but it's lower on the spectrum. And again, it's really up to you to decide what fits under your risk level, how conservative you are, how much of this is important to you, Sharia compliance as a filter. But we give the entire spectrum for users so they can make informed decisions. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions. Yes, MISRI score is available in stock screening for filtering stocks. So you can actually use a MISRI score to filter the stocks directly. Okay, so we had one more question from the sign up sheet, and then we could end it here. And anyone, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Musaffa. There's a lot more exciting things to come related to MISRI in the future too. So okay, so Madinabonu, a question is there anything related to the country and MISRI score? Is it taken into account local laws or things that may be permissible in one country or not? But just trying to understand like the global aspect of MISRI. I just asked you to unmute.
Well, we are currently analyzing Sharia-compliant companies, like top 500 Sharia-compliant companies, like listed in US based stock exchange. So most of the companies are usually US based, or most of them are like quite in most of the developed countries. And we focus on the compliance and reporting side. And here we consider the local laws. For example, company might have violated the anti-corruption or like money laundering. The company might have done money laundering, and it has been like sued for violating the legal law, like laws and rules. And in this aspect, we do consider like company as involved in this lawsuits. So it did this violation or not. Like we pay attention to local laws in terms of analyzing companies' involvement in social controversies or some how do you say, like crisis, like violations.
Got it. Thank you so much. Very helpful. So someone just asked about what's upcoming for Musaffa. So if you go on our website and then you click this sparkle, it's for what's new. You can go and see, you can click right here, what's coming up, but I would actually encourage you to click the roadmap. You can see what's in progress, next up, backlog, and done. So you can even suggest something here. But this is just a visualization for you to see what Musaffa is working on. And a lot of this is, you can even thumbs up something. A lot of this is sourced by community feedback. So if community wants something, we get it done. So yeah, so the website and then the sparkle, what's new, and then roadmap. So we have a few more questions. I see, is Musaffa going to add a crypto screening later? And then some other so these kind of questions you'll probably find in the roadmap whether we or not we're going to do it. But we did just partner with Facet, and they do provide halal crypto investing. So inshallah, that is in our future, hopefully. Actually, Madinabonu, do you know the answer to this question? Do we do MISRI scores for ETFs yet or not yet? One second.
Well, currently we are focusing on stocks, and maybe inshallah in the future, if we and like complete the stock screening properly, maybe we can also work on the ETFs, but currently no.
Got it. Okay, no worries. I know that we're always thinking of more innovative ways to apply, especially, Musaffa, alhamdulillah, was the first halal investing platform to actually have a screening for ETFs, halal screening for ETFs. Okay, everyone. If you have any more questions, please reach out to us. We'll have more of these MISRI related webinars in the future too, especially more smaller groups. So then if you have any specific questions with your own platform, we can look through it together. But I will definitely send the recording out to all the people who registered. And then Madinabonu, if you can give me a PDF actually of your presentation, people were asking for it. So I can attach it to that email as well. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Jazakallah khair. I'm gonna just unmute you for a second, Madinabonu, if you have any final words.
Well, yeah, just thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you have got new insights from the webinar. And inshallah, when we update the MISRI scorings for the companies that has been analyzed, inshallah, you can get the most benefit. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so
And
much,
thank you,
everyone.
Sister Nusrat, as well for
Of course.
being with me and inviting me to this webinar as well.
Of course, firstly, I'm so grateful that Musaffa thinks in this way. There's a lot of companies like who are moved by what's been happening, but may have not taken that first step in creating something like this for our community. So the fact that Musaffa did, and you've been so instrumental in developing this framework, and firstly, also just you being a woman in this space is just remarkable for a lot of women to look up to you too. So Jazakallah khair so much. May Allah bless you and allow you to continue making the great impact that you are in Musaffa.
Yeah, inshallah. Thank you.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Take care. Ramadan Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum.